They did 180 days of core samples in that place.
Okay.
You cannot say.
First of all, I never said previous owner contaminated that land.
You did,
Well,
so
who
when are you
did?
gonna retract?
Well, I don't know where you heard that from, but it wasn't said here.
We
Okay.
just listened to it.
Listen to it.
Okay,
Mike.
it wasn't said here.
Why?
David, when you were talking about
I didn't know you were
Reed
here.
Street, said
Did
about
you
the
hear it?
previous owner.
Yeah, but I think he was
Reed
talking
Street we
about
talked
Reed
about.
Street.
Nothing to do with your project.
Well, I hope not.
We were talking about Reed Street.
Because
Yes.
And Reed
You know
Street's
what? Nobody
contamination
wants
is
to
not because of
contaminate anything.
automobiles. Let's get that straight.
No,
I did
there's a
state,
few
I
things.
did state that.
It
It was-
is not because of automobiles.
Okay.
Nope.
There were a few
Okay.
things going on up there, okay? So that being said, the hearing has been closed, so we're not accepting comments, okay? I understand your passion. and
No,
I worked
You
very
don't.
hard my whole life to not
We
contaminate
never
land.
said, we never said you guys did,
Okay. All right.
okay?
Well, that's why I'm
We
here.
didn't say that about you guys. We said, when we went up there, we seen contamination, okay? And they're not being frank with us about it, okay? We seen spills after they told us there were none, okay? So that's what we're talking about. Nothing got mentioned about previous owners up there.
On that property.
On, as far as with you, we talked about Reed Street.
Okay, well, I must have misheard then, I'm sorry, because that's why.
It can
I'm here.
happen, you know, and I understand your
I-
passion and, you know, but the public hearing has closed on that.
Well,
We're
no,
deliberating
we did
now.
not show up because we're not here to comment on the
You're
situation.
more than welcome to stay. It just,
No, we're taxpayers. We should stay.
right, and you're
Um,
more than welcome to.
Point of the matter is, let's not misspeak about people who previously owned the land.
I can assure
No,
you
no,
that.
no.
You did not.
I can
say
assure
that.
you that, that's when I asked David, you mentioned about what happened in Reed Street, can you tell us a little bit about it? That's when he said about.
Right,
the previous
but
owner.
let's not misspeak about, John Fijol, because the Fijol land has been,
No,
Copart,
nobody's saying
Copart
anything
doesn't
about
buy
John.
contaminated land. They're
Nobody
not
even brought
stupid.
up Fijols or anything like
The
that.
previous landowners, we heard it.
From Reed Street,
Reed Street.
Reed Street had nothing to do with land, nothing.
Can we ask? Why?
The public hearing,
No,
It's
we understand
closed.
it's over about this situation, but why is this guy allowed here? Is it because Kathy and, Becky aren't here?
so we're talking about this right now.
So I'm just asking, because he has a stay away.
You can ask him, okay? We're gonna deliberate on what we're supposed to be here for, okay? There's no legal reason why he can't be here.
I wonder how many cameras everybody needs in this meeting.
So. So moving forward,
Moving forward.
No,
Well-
stop, go sit down.
You know, guys, I'm kind of like a clinical guy, and I take these plans and look through them. I follow the peer review. If it was an isolated project, I don't see any problem, technically speaking, for that. But on the other hand, people voted for me, and we have a lot of signatures here
Can you see those?
where they don't want the project to extend. So it's kind of like I'm in the middle, I'm trying to decide. We were just talking about those little improvements, and I believe those improvements, we started them as part of trying to make the neighbors happy and try to, fix what they had.
How is your clinical
It really
evaluation
struck me when
going?
they said,
For-
well, if you don't approve us, we don't do that. That hurt,
The felony charges,
it really hurt,
okay?
so that's where I am. I see your points, all your points, it's a great business, I know them. It's just like another business in town. I see, you said that if we don't approve it, they don't do this and they don't fix that. And I see your point about contamination. And I've been in other planning board sitting over there, like the client today, and just because one person said, I don't want it, I got denied. So it's, I'm trying to decide where should this go? But that's
And
what I think.
I agree with you entirely because I'm torn, totally torn. Like you and David I was really put off when Colbert said, if you don't prove that, we're not doing any of this. That just is, she's like, you're not being a nice person. You know?
Well, maybe it's not about being a nice person, it's just something, you know, I have the project in one hand and I have the signatures in another hand,
Yes.
and they are valid points.
Yeah.
They're both, there are benefits on both sides, and everything, but, you know,
That's the dilemma we all face.
correct,
It's a huge thing, and you go home at night, you don't sleep because all you're doing is thinking about what's the right thing to do.
correct.
It's a difficult decision.
So is this something we're deliberating on, or is it something we are voting on tonight? Did you put in for vote?
No, not vote expected, I'm thinking probably the next meeting. This was just the discussion.
So yeah, you know, I just think, you know, I disagree with you, Ed. I think the risks outweigh it. I think Copart is a convenient neighbor at times. They have done some good stuff for the community, but I think they do it as part of their outreach, their publicity to, you know, basically, you know, keep their name in good graces with the residents. You know, the issues that we see from all the people that have signed petitions, every one of those people is a resident of our community, has a life here, a reason why they're opposing it. And if this was a solar project, it probably wouldn't get approved. If it was anything else with that many signatures, it probably wouldn't get approved. The last, you know, online auto auction place that wanted to move in here, they did their outreach. They realized the neighbors really opposed it, which caused us to, you know, reach out and do a new bylaw or bylaw change for it because of the outcry from the residents. It's the same thing. You know, same thing that's going on. They're still residents. They still have a say. All these people, I don't know for sure, but they live in the area. I don't know if they all own the home. It's grandfathered. But there's no reason why we have to allow them to get bigger. When they get bigger, I see more problems happen, more traffic, more vehicles. You know, you don't increase the size of your project, your business, if you're not expecting to take on more. What's that gonna look like in the future? More tow trucks coming at varying times of hours. You know, more people coming up from all these states, putting cars on flatbeds that probably shouldn't exactly be on flatbeds, and driving away with them. You know, so be it, that's their business model, but I can't see how we would increase that more. We're already having problems with the size it is at now. and mine are getting bigger.
Thank you, David.
So, I guess. If we were gonna say no, should we have said no at the beginning
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
instead of going through the peer review process?
They
I
would
do
have sued you
feel
then.
like the peer review process kind of hijacked the project in a way, because Copart presented, I mean, the first meeting was a plan, but they didn't really wanna talk about it, they wanted to go through the peer review process, which seemed fine at the time, sort of, but, now I kinda wonder, if we had brought up, if
Well,
we
I
had
think
had
we're
a-
doing our due diligence.
What?
Like any other project, we're doing our due diligence. It's the same thing with solar. We go through the peer review, we go through the whole process. We don't just sit there and say, something, we're gonna deny you right now. How many times have we gone through peer review with solar projects and things have come up? Different issues have been brought up, like, okay, maybe this isn't gonna work out this way. Okay, you're telling us all these basins are here, that's gonna be fine, but it's gonna impact this now by doing it. You gotta do your due diligence, and I think with them, due diligence was done. We looked at the peer review, and, looking at it and hearing from our own engineer, right off the bat, can you guarantee that the well water won't get contaminated? I can't guarantee that. That was like solidified in me at that point.
Is it, can you guarantee it?
And I
without-
sat there and like, something,
Yeah.
you can't guarantee that you're gonna keep it safe for the residents. And, now it's in our hand. Do we sit there and roll those dice and see what happens?
Sid, you were gonna say?
Yeah, I see your point, Rich, but part of all of the peer review, that was part of the decision-making process. We learned things we didn't know before. And if we said no at the start, that probably wouldn't have been good either. So now we have more information, so we can make an informed decision. Okay.
Also,
Has any of this been talked about with legal counsel? Anything on Copart?
So, I did send Merrick, TEC's conditions, right? And then I did ask about being able to put monitoring wells on the existing site as part of the condition for expansion. I have not heard back.
also the process, when you have a new project, you have neighbors saying no at the beginning, and we're trying to make it work somewhere in the middle. And we've come up with all these little ideas to make it work, but at the end, I remember saying this project, it's a go, but they have to make the neighbors happy. It's that easy.
The neighbors aren't happy though.
Unfortunately.
Brown water?
But what would make the neighbors happy?
Mr. Rob.
Go to Copart, expand. They have all these things.
Well, yeah, but that's something that a business should do anyways. When you see a problem, when you see a safety issue, and it's brought on by your business, address it. They could address those issues. The signage is their property. That's something that they could easily address. That's their issue. Bringing back the gate more on their property is something that benefits them. It keeps the neighbors quiet.
Sight line on the road.
Or even moving the sight line. They own that, they can get that, but they conditioned it saying, well, if we don't get approved, we're not doing it. That's not a good neighbor. That's something that's a safety issue, it's identified as a safety issue. A good neighbor sits there and says, something? We'll have to deal with what we got, but yeah, we should probably address that because, yeah, we agree, it's a safety concern. They're trying to force our hand. You know, you don't get this unless we get that. You know, that's not how.
Yeah, you mentioned it, right? So if we don't approve it, we don't get to fix it.
And that's not a good neighbor. You know?
What were some of those issues where we're not, people working on it? You know, the sightline thing? Yeah, you drive and you can't see, but they presented that needs to be fixed, period, which residents wouldn't know. Yes, they'd say, oh yeah, that's a problem, but they wouldn't know that it really.
There is. Yeah. Right? So, I've heard from conservation that the basins that, you know, the stormwater aspects are pretty good. It's pretty beefy. It will catch the water coming off, maybe even over design.
Yes.
So, we continue for the next meeting to vote.
Okay, so, when we vote, we have 14 days to render a decision with our conditions. So you have to be thinking now about if you're gonna vote no, I guess. Well, you need to come up with reasons why you're voting no. And then if you're voting yes, you have to think about the conditions.